But let's introduce the first two fish and see how tiny they look in here. Hey, it's Brock here from Uncommon Aquatics, and I just picked up the big aquarium that I have always wanted. It's big, it's thick glass, it's heavy, and I'm going to put it on pallet racking in here as I build out my fish room, and I'm taking a skid steer to go pick it up. It's actually my miniature skid steer on a trailer, and hopefully this is going to work. I know it won't have any problem with the weight, but I'm worried about breaking it, obviously, so we'll see how it goes. We'll get it back here. I'll show you what I got. I tell you what, I've been keeping fish for over 20 years now, and I just never get tired of watching fish swim or setting up aquariums. And I've seen, obviously, large public aquariums and seen tons of videos of big aquariums, but I cannot get over how enormous a 220-gallon tank is. Like, I could swim around in this. And not just the length, because my 125 is the same length, but then the height and the depth. It's a full 2 foot, 2.5 foot tall, 2 foot deep, 6 foot long, 220 gallon. And I cannot wait to grow out some monster fish in here. I've already got several of the fish that are going in here, including my 2 expensive prize specimens that I've always wanted that are at the local fish store, and I'm not picking them up until the aquarium's been set up longer and I know it's fully cycled. Now, I got this set in last night. This tank, empty. This is not a standard tank. It's an all-glass aquarium. So the bracing on the top is 1/2-inch thick glass. The sides, 1/2-inch thick glass. I say 1/2 inch, it may be thicker than 1/2 inch. I've never seen an aquarium with glass this thick. Absolutely unreal. And I've still got more things to do, but I used this pallet racking that I got from Menards for $300. And it's rated for 10,000 pounds, but each shelf's only rated for 2,000 pounds. And I thought this would be perfect for aquariums, and I know a local fish store that uses these. But the thing about it is, I couldn't envision an aquarium this big when I got the rack. And with the water, decorations, and everything, I think this might weigh 2,400 pounds, and the shelves are only rated for 2,000. So what I did is I put 2 shelves right below each other, and then in between the shelves, I actually milled on my sawmill 6-inch by 6-inch beams and put all the way across under here where they were tight between these 2 shelves. So now the weight's being distributed to 2 shelves, with each shelf being rated for 2,000 pounds. So I think it'll be fine. The other problem I had with getting this in is the aquarium is 6 foot. It's a 72-inch. That's the glass, but with the trim, it's about 72.25. And this is just a hair under 72. So I had to lift it over and lower it down onto the base. It was quite an ordeal getting it in here. But since then, I washed it out, filled it full of sand, filled it full of water. Then I pumped the water out multiple times, and there's still a little bit of haziness from the sand, but I think that's partially because I just added a bag of rocks in here. But mainly it's cleared up. A few hours ago, I pulled the filter off and painted the back of the aquarium blue, just like I did my other one. I really think fish look nice, aquariums look nice when they have a bright blue background like that. Now, I filled the tank with water yesterday, and when I was done, I put this zebra danio in here. And of course, I've dechlorinated the water, and everything should be fine. I used a filter from my cycled 125 over here. So essentially this water has been filtering through a fully cycled filter for the last 24 hours. And it's such a high volume of water. I think to cycle this volume of water, you need more than just a couple danios. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce a couple of fish to this aquarium and let 2 fish live in here. 2 fish that are going to be permanent, staple, like showpiece fish in this aquarium. I'm going to let them live in here by themselves for about a week. And if they're looking good, I'll start adding the rest of the fish. I'd like to hear from you guys. What would you keep in an aquarium like this? I think I pretty much know what I'm going to do, but I'd like to hear suggestions too. There's so much space for all the big fish that they tell you not to get. Now, you still don't want a red-tailed catfish. That's still going to outgrow this, unless you know when you get it that you're going to be donating it or something, or you have a home to take it back to. You still don't want to get something like that. There are exceptions, but most of the things that people tell you, don't get that, it gets so big, you can have them in a 220. And I've always dreamed of that. That's one reason the 125 is set up as a community tank with smaller fish. And planted. I love planted aquariums. So that's the planted aquariums. The fish that go in here probably aren't going to allow for plants. So I have one Amazon sword that I'd like to have a giant sword in the middle and this vine here, but leave most of it open for swimming. So I wanted to film every bit of this, but it was just, I had so much going on that I ended up getting to this point before jumping back in. But let's introduce the first 2 fish and see how tiny they look in here. First fish that's going in is a longfin albino tiger Oscar. The way he's turned, it's probably hard to see how long his fins are. I'll see if I can get some better shots once we move him. In this grow out tank, we've got 3 Polypterus, 3 bichers. This is the Senegal. He's the biggest and the healthiest and the hardiest. He already ate an autosynclus out of here. And then we've got an Indie bicher back there. And another one over here. We're going to go ahead and put the Senegal into the big tank. Okay, the first inhabitant of the 220 gallon is a Senegal bicher about 4 inches long. Just tiny in there. Even though this water looks cloudy, it's just a little residue from the sand, and it's not going to hurt the fish. All it needs is a little time for it to settle and for the filter to pull a little more of that out. And the second inhabitant of the 220 gallon, the longfin albino Oscar. I decided the Oscar seemed lonely, so I went ahead and added a turquoise Severum out of the 125 gallon. So I've always dreamed of having an aquarium like this, and it took me 20 plus years to have the space, a good space that could house it without worrying about the floor or anything like that, and just to be in a place in life where I could set this up, and I am so thrilled to do it. And I'm going to have a ton more content about this aquarium and all my other aquariums. This makes 9 aquariums I have set up. Mostly they're all nano and small, medium size, but then I've got the 125 and now a 220. So absolutely fantastic. I'm excited to have this. Let me know in the comments what fish you think I should add to it. I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.